Hi dear GATE 2024 candidates, another job opportunity is coming for you. The Indian Oil Corporation Limited invites application for engineers or officers and engagement as graduate apprentice engineers through GATE 2024. We know IOCL is a Maharatna status organization and the organization renders overriding prominence to the energy needs of the country. And they have mentioned that to fuel its future growth, Indian Oil is looking for energetic and dedicated graduate engineers with bright academic record to join the organization as engineers or officers from the disciplines chemical engineering, civil engineering, computer science and information technology, electrical engineering, electronics and communication engineering, instrumentation engineering, mechanical engineering and metallurgical engineering. And additionally, few candidates would also be selected for engagement as graduate apprentice engineers or GAEs in the selected disciplines in line with the Apprenticeship Act 1961. Let's now look the eligibility criteria required to apply for this post. Only Indian nationals are eligible to apply for this post, and the applicants must have appeared and qualified in GATE 2024 from any of the 8 disciplines mentioned here. The GATE exam codes for these 8 disciplines are also mentioned here. In addition to the GATE score, the candidates must have done BE or BTech from the same discipline for which they have the GATE score. To understand that clearly, they have mentioned here that in case a candidate has qualified in GATE 2024 from 2 papers, say electrical engineering and instrumentation engineering, and has done BE or BTech in instrumentation engineering, then the candidate can apply only in instrumentation engineering and not in electrical engineering for this recruitment. Then they have mentioned that qualifying in GATE 2024 from disciplines other than the 8 disciplines mentioned earlier shall not be accepted towards eligibility for the advertised post. Let's now look the equivalent disciplines corresponding to each of these 8 disciplines they have mentioned. When we consider chemical engineering, petrochemicals and polymer and plastic engineering candidates can also apply under chemical engineering, and these candidates must have a GATE 2024 score in chemical engineering. Then when we consider civil engineering, only civil engineering candidates can apply under civil engineering. Then when we consider computer science and information technology engineering candidates can also apply under computer science and information technology, and they need a valid GATE 2024 score in computer science and information technology. Then when we consider electrical engineering, electrical and electronics engineering candidates can also apply under electrical engineering, and they must have a valid GATE 2024 score in electrical engineering. Then when we consider electronics and communication engineering, electronics engineering and electronics and telecommunication engineering candidates can also apply under electronics and communication engineering, and they must have a valid GATE 2024 score in electronics and communication engineering. Then when we consider instrumentation engineering, electronics and instrumentation engineering and instrumentation and control engineering candidates can also apply under instrumentation engineering, and they need a valid GATE 2024 score in instrumentation engineering. Then when we consider mechanical engineering, only mechanical engineering candidates can apply under this. Then when we consider metallurgical engineering, mineral and material sciences candidates can also apply under metallurgical engineering, and they must need a metallurgical engineering GATE 2024 score. And in this table, they have clearly mentioned about the excluding disciplines. The candidates who belongs to excluding disciplines cannot apply for this post. You can go through this table to see the excluding disciplines. Then they have clearly mentioned here that the candidates pursuing or completed their graduation, that is BE or BTech, in combined or integrated disciplines or in interdisciplinary subjects like mechatronics or robotics etc. will not be eligible. So the candidates having qualifying degree from a discipline other than those mentioned here are not eligible to apply. Then when we consider the GATE score, it must be a GATE 2024 score. That means GATE marks of previous years, that is GATE 2023 or before, shall also not be accepted. Let's now look the upper age limit criteria for this post. The upper age limit will be calculated as on 30th June 2024, and they have mentioned that the candidates applying from general or EWS category should not be more than 26 years, and relaxation to candidates applying from other categories shall apply as per Government of India guidelines. In this table, they have mentioned the cutoff on date of birth. You can go through it. Then the certificate issued by Board of Secondary Education for passing matriculation or higher secondary mentioning the date of birth shall be the only acceptable document in support of proof of age. Then let's look what they have mentioned about the candidates pursuing ME or MTech as integrated course or dual degree course of BE or BTech program. They have mentioned that candidates who are currently pursuing ME or MTech as part of integrated course or dual degree course of BE or BTech program are also eligible to apply, provided they have appeared in GATE 2024 examination in the eligible discipline and completed BE or BTech in one of the disciplines mentioned earlier. And such candidates must have both BE or BTech and ME or MTech degrees by 30th September 2024 if selected in Indian Oil. To understand that, they have mentioned that a candidate who is pursuing or has completed MTech in power systems, which is not an eligible discipline under this recruitment process, but has done BE or BTech in electrical engineering, which is an eligible discipline under this recruitment process, is eligible to apply only if the candidate has appeared and qualified in GATE 2024 in electrical engineering discipline, which is an eligible discipline. However, vice versa instances of this example will not be considered towards meeting eligibility for applying to the advertised positions under electrical engineering discipline. And they have given another example. The candidates pursuing integrated ME or MTech where separate degrees of BE or BTech and ME or MTech are awarded are eligible to apply only if they have completed the course requirement for award of BE or BTech in one of the engineering disciplines mentioned earlier. Then they have mentioned that if a candidate who is pursuing or completed integrated ME or MTech program and is awarded two separate degrees, that is BE or BTech and ME or MTech, then the percentage of marks or CGPA obtained by the candidates in BE or BTech only will be considered to determine the eligibility of the candidate. And if a single degree is awarded, that is ME or MTech to the candidate at the end of integrated ME or MTech program, then the percentage of marks or CGPA obtained by the candidates in ME or MTech program only will be considered to determine the eligibility of the candidate. Let's now look the minimum marks required in qualifying degrees. For general, EWS and OBC non-creamy layer, 65% of marks is required, and for SC, ST and PWBD, 55% mark is required. Then about the final year or final semester students, they have mentioned that the candidates currently in final year or final semester of their qualifying degree may also apply subject to obtaining minimum percentage of marks as mentioned here from aggregate of marks obtained in semesters declared so far. However, if selected, they would be allowed to join only if, besides meeting other eligibility criteria, their aggregate percentage of marks in the qualifying examination is equal to or more than the minimum percentage of marks as prescribed here. And such candidates should also be in a position to submit their final mark sheet by 30th September 2024. Then, if the final marks in the qualifying degree have been awarded as letter or number grade like CGPA, GPA, SGPA, etc., then the equivalent percentage of marks for establishing eligibility criteria shall be arrived at by referring to CGPA to percentage conversion formula adopted by respective institute or university. And such candidates would have to submit the conversion certificate issued by the concerned institute or university at the time of personal interview if shortlisted. And normally this conversion formula will be given at the backside of your mark list. However, in case the institute does not follow any conversion formula for converting CGPA to percentage, then IOCL shall be at liberty to arrive at equivalent percentage of marks by adopting a multiplication factor to arrive at equivalent percentage of marks. And the candidates from such college or institutes will have to submit a certificate mentioning that their college or institute does not follow CGPA to percentage conversion formula at the time of personal interview if shortlisted. Let's now look the important instructions for the candidates who belongs to reservation category. They have mentioned that the candidates belonging to OBC non-creamy layer or SC or ST or EWS or PWBD categories should have valid certificate in support of their claim of belonging to such category to be eligible for claiming reservation under the respective category. Then here they have mentioned the important instructions regarding the caste and category certificate you need to produce. You can go through it. Then they have mentioned that the final selection and joining of candidates is subject to meeting the physical fitness criteria as described in the PEME guidelines. PEME means Pre-Employment Medical Examination Guidelines. So, all medical reports towards physical fitness as per format mentioned in the guidelines shall be required to be submitted by the candidate at the time of joining if empaneled for the advertised positions. Let's now look how we can apply for this post in detail. The first thing you need to notice here is that there will not be any fees payable by the candidate for appearing in this selection process. Then you need to apply online through online portal on Indian Oil's website www.iocl.com, and the relevant link to apply online is available on the Indian Oil's website at iocl.com/latestjobopening on www.iocl.com. The candidates should click on the online application link, read the instructions carefully and fill in the online application form giving correct and complete information. Then the candidate need to upload two documents. First one is the scanned copy of recent color passport size photograph captured in January 2024 or later, and the second one is scanned copy of signature. Then prior to applying online, candidate will have to register his or her email ID and mobile number on the online portal. Once registered, the email ID and mobile number cannot be changed. Communications to the candidate shall be made only on their registered email ID and mobile number. Therefore, their email ID and mobile number must be valid and should remain active for minimum 1 year from the date of application. Then they have mentioned that requests for change of email ID and mobile number will not be entertained. So you need to enter it carefully. Then after successful registration of email ID and mobile number, the candidates will be asked few multiple choice questions pertaining to terms and conditions mentioned in this detailed advertisement. The candidates will be allowed to proceed further in the application process only when the questions are answered correctly by the candidate. So it is very important to read and understand all terms and conditions of this detailed advertisement. Then at the start of application process, the candidates will be asked to enter details like date of birth, GATE 2024 registration number, GATE 2024 discipline, and marks obtained in GATE 2024. You need to enter the marks out of 100 and up to 2 decimal places. The candidate will be allowed to proceed further in the application process only when the entries made against above queries are found matching with GATE 2024 database. Then the portal will capture candidates' live photo using candidate's system camera through portal's inbuilt feature. The candidate should position himself or herself in such a way that only the face and neck area of the candidate is in focus and is captured by the camera. Additionally, candidate will also be required to upload recent most color photo during the application process, and the photo should be a passport size photo and it should be captured in January 2024 or onwards. And they have clearly mentioned that the candidate should ensure that candidate's appearance in the photo, both in uploaded and captured by the system, matches with the actual appearance of the candidate on the day of personal interview if shortlisted. Then for the candidates applying in reserved category, they have mentioned that the candidates applying from any of the reserved category, EWS, OBC non-creamy layer, SC/ST or PWBD must have relevant and valid document in support of their claim of belonging to reserved category from which they are applying, and failing which their candidature may be cancelled and appointment or engagement may be summarily terminated if selected. And such candidates must also furnish correct details of such documents in online application portal wherever asked for. And they have mentioned that the candidates need not submit or upload their EWS, caste or PWBD certificate at the time of registration. However, they must furnish information sought about such documents in the online application like issue date, certificate number, caste serial number as per central list, name of caste, issuing authority, etc. Then they have mentioned that all the details mentioned in the online form once submitted will be treated as final and no request for changes will be entertained later on. So the candidates are advised to fill the online form very carefully, making correct entries in the respective fields. And since all the applications will be screened without documentary evidence or proof, the candidates must satisfy themselves of meeting the eligibility criteria as mentioned in the detailed advertisement for the position to which they are applying. And you should know that mere registration on portal shall not mean that the candidate is meeting the eligibility criteria. The same has to be established by producing relevant and valid documents in original at the time of document verification. And in case it is detected at any stage of the selection process that a candidate does not fulfill the prescribed eligibility criteria and or that the candidate has furnished any false or incorrect information or has suppressed any material facts, then his or her candidature may be cancelled without any further notice and appointment or engagement may be summarily terminated if selected. And the candidate may also render himself or herself liable to criminal prosecution. So you need to enter your details with proper care. And always you need to take care that you are not entering any false or incorrect information. Then about presently working candidate, they have mentioned that the candidates presently employed in government departments or PSUs or autonomous bodies need to submit no objection certificate from competent authority of their current employer at the time of document verification. And the selected candidates will have to submit clear unconditional release letter from their current employer, and failing which they will not be allowed to join or engage. And if the selected candidates are working in private organization, then they will have to submit proof of acceptance of resignation from their current employment prior to being allowed to join as engineer or officer or engaged as GAE. Then they have mentioned that the latest news about this recruitment process will be shown on their website www.iocl.com. So the candidates are advised to visit the website regularly for updated information. Then let's look what they have mentioned about selection and shortlisting process. About selection process, they have mentioned that the selection process shall consist of three components. One is marks in GATE 2024 examination. Second one is group discussion GD and group task GT, and third one is personal interview PI. Then about shortlisting process, they have mentioned that shortlisting of eligible candidates for further selection process shall comprised of GD, GT and PI, and shortlisting shall be carried out category wise in descending order of their marks obtained in GATE 2024 examination for respective discipline. Then they have mentioned that the eligibility of the shortlisted candidate shall be verified at the time of GD, GT and PI prior to allowing candidates further in the selection process, and only those candidates shall be allowed to appear in the selection process who would meet the eligibility criteria by furnishing relevant and valid documents in latest formats in original at the time of document verification. And if the candidates fail to produce original documents at the time of document verification, then they may not be allowed to participate further in the selection process and may be declared ineligible for the position. Then about the formation of the merit list, they have mentioned that the merit list shall be prepared only of those candidates who qualify individually in not only all components of selection process but also in consolidated weighted sum of marks obtained in the components of selection process, GATE 2024 examination, group discussion and group task, and personal interview. Then in this table they have mentioned about placement and nature of job. You can go through it. Then in this section they have mentioned about the remuneration you will get if you are selected. You can go through it. Then one important thing you need to consider here is that you need to sign a service bond. They have mentioned that candidates selected as officer or engineer will have to execute a bond as under to serve the corporation for a minimum period of 3 years from the date of joining the corporation. Then the last date of applying for post advertised in this advertisement is 1st July 2024. Then if you have any further queries, you can mail them at recruit2024@indianoil.in. Then some frequently asked questions are shown here. You can go through it. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe and share this channel.